Welcome to Yoga with Cordelia, yogaing for health and well-being. Hello yogis, welcome to part 6 of Yoga for Complete Beginners. You may find it useful to have one yoga block or a cushion to hand, but it's not necessary for this class. You will be fine without if you haven't got them to hand. So let's roll out our mats and let's begin. We shall start kneeling at the back of the mat in Thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana. This is a great alternative for Sukhasana, for cross-legged. Some people find this quite difficult on the ankles, so there are a few options to make life a bit easier. You can pop either a cushion or a block behind the knees, and that just lifts you up a bit higher. That can be quite nice. Or you can take either a rolled up blanket or a cushion or the block and place it under the shins so that the ankles are hanging over the edge and the angle is not such a stretch on the ankles. Find what's comfortable for you, and if this shape isn't working at all, then it's fine to be in cross-legged. If you're sitting on your heels, try and lift up through the pelvic floor to take some weight off of the heels and be tall up through the centre channel, head over heart over pelvis. Palms together in the lap, one on top of the other, close off the eyes and drop into the breath. Place the right hand down, inhale the left arm up and over into your side stretch. Breathing deep into the left side of the body. Exhale back through to centre, then inhale the right arm up, left hand down, over into your stretch. Rotating the chest to the sky. Exhale back through to centre. Mindfully come onto all fours, tabletop position. Shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hips. Fingers spread wide, navel up and in. Feet parallel. Not collapsing between the shoulder blades, but doming up through the shoulder blades. Gaze down between the hands. Getting ready for our cat and cows. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, curling from the tailbone, rounding through the spine. Head is the last thing to release. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. So good for the spine. One more round with your breath. Then we'll meet back in tabletop. Bring the hands just a tiny bit further forward, curl the toes, exhale the hips up and back to our first downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, take your dog for a walk. Find any movement that feels nice and then find some stillness. Fingers spread wide, feet, heels aiming towards the mat, knees bent as generously as needed. Breathing here. Gaze to the hands and take a slow, mindful walk, feeling each step towards the front of the mat, ragdoll forward fold, knees bent generously, grasping the elbows, feet hip width apart, sway side to side. If that feels nice, nod the head, shake the head, release any tension from the neck, then release the arms, and on an inhale, rising up slowly, one vertebrae stacking on top of the other, till we're fully up, shoulders down the back, mountain pose. We're coming into a full sun salutation A, and there will be some various options throughout. Inhale, arms up overhead, palms together. Exhale, come down through the midline, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, hands can be on the shins with a flat back or up on the thighs, keeping the elbows in. You can mix and match, find whatever feels nice for you. Exhale, fold, then step the right leg followed by the left leg back to plank, lower the knees. Exhale all the way down to the belly, toes flat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow. Inhale, push back to all fours, navel up and in, curl the toes. Exhale, lift those hips up and back, down dog. Lower ribs knitting in together, so the lower belly's engaged. Shoulders away from the ears. Then on an inhale, come high on the toes, bend the knees and look at the hands. Then exhale, step one foot followed by the other up behind the hands. Now you may find that your first steps only bring you halfway. That's fine. Then just take another step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, root to rise, feeling the yoga mat under the feet, and then hands down through heart center on an exhale. Inhale, arms up. Look up to the hands. Exhale, swan dive down to the mat, folding at the hips. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms, suck the navel in, and you can try, if you want, to hop back to plank. Or step back, one foot then the other. Lower the knees, exhale all the way down. Inhale, lift to cobra. Then curl the toes and keeping the navel sucked up and in, push the hips up and back to go directly from cobra to down dog. Enjoy the stretch in down dog. Crown reaching for the mat. Then inhale high on the toes, bend the knees, look at the hands, and you can try hopping towards the hands. And you may find that your hop only brings you halfway. That's fine. You then just step up the rest of the way. Forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rising up, taking up space with the arms, hands down through heart center. We'll do one more sun A. Inhale, arms up. You can choose the variation that works for you. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lifting to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms, either step or hop back to plank. Lower the knees. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Curl the toes. You can push up and back directly to down dog or come back through all fours. Mix and match. You can choose your vinyasa. Every time you do a vinyasa, you can choose which one you feel like doing. Then high on the toes, either hop or step to the front of the mat. Inhale, come up to flat back. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise up, arms up overhead, hands down through heart center. Fabulous. We're now going to progress to a full sun salutation B. So heel toe the feet together with a slight gap between the heels. We're starting with chair. So on an inhale, sit deep with your hips going back and the arms sweep towards the floor and then up so that you've got your biceps by the ears. Then exhale, fold forward to forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms, step the right leg back, followed by the left or hop. Come forward to plank and you can try lowering all the way down in plank. You may collapse halfway, that's fine. Inhale, cobra. And then exhale, back up into down dog or come back through all fours first. Then bring the left foot in a bit and toes pointing as if towards the top left of the mat. So the foot's at a 45-degree angle. Then bring the right foot through between the hands, grabbing hold of it if you need to. We're coming into warrior one. The weight is going down into the back left heel. Hands to the waist, rise up, and if you feel stable, arms up overhead. Warrior One. Exhale, bow, framing the front foot, pivot on the back foot so you're back into runner's lunge, then step back to plank, and remember you can come all the way down, but if you find that your hips are landing before your chest, because you really need to come down in a line to protect the back, then there's nothing wrong with lowering the knees and then lowering down. Build strength first. Inhale, cobra, exhale, down dog. Then bring the right foot slightly forward and out to the side with the toes at a 45-degree angle. And then the left foot, grab hold of it and bring that through between your palms. Weight into the back heel, the right heel. Hands on the waist, rise up. Hips are kind of aiming towards the front right. Inhale, arms up overhead. Warrior One. Exhale, bow, frame the foot, step back to plank, and choose the way you want to lower, from plank or lowering the knees, exhaling all the way down. Inhale, cobra, shoulders down the back. Exhale, hips up and back into down dog. Fingers wide, pressure equally through all the knuckles. Heels aiming towards the mat. Weight towards the outer edges of the feet. Then inhale, bend the knees. Come forward on an exhale to forward fold at the front of the mat, either hopping or stepping. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Coming back into chair pose. So inhale, arms up by the ears, sitting deep, weight over the heels. Then exhale, mountain. Whew. Sun bees are hard work. Well done. Take a step with the right foot. So we're now coming into Warrior Two. So the right foot is in line with the long edge, left foot in line with the short edge. Bend into that right knee, arms out to the side. Check that the knee is not rolling in so you can see your big toe. Weight into the outer left foot, back leg strong. Breathing here. Exhale into extended side angle, forearm comes onto the top of the thigh, left arm up and over, aiming for where the ceiling meets the wall. Breathing here. Look down at your feet, inhale, come back up to Warrior Two, hands to the waist. Straighten the leg, turn the right toes in so both feet are in line with the short edge. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, folding forward, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Your fingers may reach the floor. If they don't, and you've got a block to hand or some cushions, then come onto your block or cushions. Bring the floor up to you. Wherever you are today is exactly where you're meant to be. If your hands are flat on the floor, bring them in line with the feet, keeping the elbows coming in towards each other. Weight into the outer edges of the feet. Then inhale, come onto your fingertips, flat back. Exhale, tuck the chin, hands to the waist, slight bend in the knees. Then inhale, rise all the way up. Turn the left toes out, Warrior Two on this side. Check the alignment of the knee, arms out to the side, squeezing the glutes, navel up and in to keep the tailbone long, shoulders down the back. Powerful pose. Exhale into your extended side angle, left forearm on left thigh, right arm up overhead. Feel the stretch from the outer right foot all the way to the right fingertips. Don't forget what that left knee is doing. Look down at your feet, inhale, come back up through Warrior Two, then step up to the front of the mat. I'm going to come to the middle of the mat just so you can see me. We're coming into tree pose, Vrikshasana. So weight onto the left foot, don't let the left hip collapse. Bring that right knee up and in, give it a squeeze, rotate the ankle one way, then the other. And remember, we have options. We can have the toes on the ground, foot against the inner calf or against the inner thigh. Make sure the hips are forward, hands to heart center, and then grow your tree if you want to. You may well be holding onto a wall or a chair, that is fine. Breathing here, focusing on a point that is not moving. Palms together, exhale and down to heart center, and then with control, bring the right leg down, march it out a bit, shake out your feet, and we'll come to the other side. Left knee up and in, give it a squeeze, wiggle the foot one way then the other, and choose your tree. If your foot is against the inner thigh, the foot pushes into the thigh and the thigh pushes into the foot. And if you're feeling stable, grow your tree. Arms can be wherever feels nice. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Come back to standing, march out the feet. We'll meet back at the top of the mat. My mat's moved. And we're going to vinyasa through to seated. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down to forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Plant the palms, step or hop back to plank. Lower the knees or keep the knees up. And exhale all the way down to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Either exhale directly to down dog or bow and then come back through all fours and up into down dog. Then walk towards the middle of the mat and then bring the heels right to the edge with the feet splaying off. We're coming into a deep yogic squat. You might be able to just lower yourself down. You'll probably find that your heels will want to lift off and you may need to keep leaning forward on your hands. If you have a block, it can be really nice to sit on the block, hands at heart center. And eventually you will come into a squat one day. You will be rounded in the beginning, but as time goes by, you'll be able to open up the chest. Elbows pushing into the knees, knees into the elbows. Be wherever you are today. Then bring your hands behind you to carefully support yourself back down to protect your knees. And we're coming into a wide-legged seated forward fold. It's really nice to sit up on a block or a cushion to give your hips a bit of space here. But if you haven't, it doesn't matter. So legs out to the side. Doesn't matter how wide they are. Find what's comfortable for you. Find your edge. Don't go beyond it. Toes and knees pointing up to the sky, feet are flexed. Protect those knees. Arms up overhead, tall out of the waist, and then folding from the hips with a flat back, come forward, and you'll be able to put your hands at some point on the mat. You may not be very far forward at all. You could be sitting up really quite high with just what feels like a very small lean. It's a very intense stretch in the inner thighs. So be wherever you are today and breathe. Then using your hands, walk yourself back up to seated. Grab behind the knees to bring the knees in. And let's come into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Soles of the feet together, knees coming apart. Heels as close to the groin as is comfortable. Give your inner feet a bit of a massage, your feet work hard. Then inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding forward again from the hips. So this might be a really small lean. You'll feel an intense stretch in the groin. Chin stays parallel to the mat. Breathing here. Elbows are not pushing on the knees. Then inhale, rise back up. Then bring the feet forward, so we're in a bit more of a diamond shape, and we're coming to a restorative Baddha Konasana. So this time you can round, and you just fold over, the head aiming towards the feet, turn the palms up to resist the urge to crank ourselves further. We're letting gravity do the work here as we have a rounded spine. Then using your hands, walk yourself back up to seated, bring the knees back up, come off of your prop, scoot to the front of the mat, lean forward, and then exhale, lowering the upper body all the way down to the mat. We're coming into bridge. Feet hip width apart, knees bent, feet parallel, check they are parallel. Your fingertips may just be brushing the back of the heels. Lower spine firmly imprinted on the mat. Then inhale, lifting up from the tailbone, lift the lower back, mid back, squeezing the knees together, squeezing the glutes. You may clasp the hands and snuggle the shoulder blades underneath so your arms are straight, pushing onto your forearms to lift your hips higher. Breathing here. Bring the palms flat, then on an exhale, lower down one vertebrae at a time until the whole of the lower spine is firmly on the mat again. Then drop the knees to the right, to the left, and we'll reset for another bridge. I'm putting a block between my thighs this time. Help the knees stay together, but work those inner thighs a bit more. So when you're ready, peeling up from the tailbone, snuggle those shoulder blades underneath, clasping the hands, chest to chin, chin to sky, really squeezing the glutes, squeezing that block, feeling the tremble. Breathing here. Release the palms and then exhale one vertebrae down at a time. Once the lower spine's firmly on the mat, remove the block and windshield wiper the legs to the right and to the left, or the left and the right. Bring a knee in and the other knee, hug, roll around a bit, massaging the lumbar spine. Then cross the ankles, hold on to the outer edges of the feet, exhale back, inhale up, exhale back. Oh, I love this. Inhale up. I could do this all day. Then we're going to come into a restorative forward fold, feet out straight in front, feet flexed. And then walking our hands down the outside of our legs, rounded spine, just letting gravity do the work, so turn the palms up, breathing here. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold, so beneficial. Turn the palms over and then using your arm strength, walk yourself back up to seated. Bend the knees, scoot forward a bit more. We're coming through into our shoulder stand. So we can do a half shoulder stand with the hands just under the hips. Or you can bring the legs back behind you to be able to get the hands further up the back, up towards your shoulder blades, and then bring the legs up straighter. Squeezing the legs together, squeezing the navel up and in. Whatever you do, don't turn your head in this position. 10 breaths here in total. Then bend the knees and bring them to the forehead. Then straighten the legs, supporting your lower back. See if your feet may reach the ground behind you. Now, if they do, you can put your hands flat on the mat or clasp the hands. But you need to make sure you can breathe. If you're finding your breath has got short and shallow, you've gone too far, Then bring the feet back up so they're not on the floor, but you must then support your lower back. Plough pose, another great stretch for the entire body. Then bend the knees to the forehead again and gently supporting yourself as you lower down, back flat on the mat, bending the knees, then bring the feet down, then straighten the legs together, toes pointed, fish pose, our counter pose. A hand under each buttock, come up onto your forearms, exhale, open the chest and let the head reach back and it may touch the mat. Breathing here. And then exhale, letting the head slide along the mat. Take the hands out from under the bottom once we're flat on the back. Bend the knees, shift the hips to the right, drop the knees to the left. Arms can be out straight to the sides like a T, or you can bend the elbows at 90 degrees, cactus arms. It's a lovely stretch across the chest. Breathing deep into the lumbar spine here. Then inhale, bring the right knee up, followed by the left. Shift the hips right over to the left and then let the knees drop down to the right. Deep belly breaths here. This is good for the lumbar spine and great for the digestion. Navel to spine, left knee up, recenter the hips, and let's come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Legs straight, feet as wide as the mat, arms out to the side, palms turned up. Close off the eyes. Let the breathing return to normal. If any thoughts pop into the head, let them drift by, don't engage. Just focus on the breath coming in and out through the nose. Bring some movement back into the fingers and toes. Rotate the wrists, ankles. Stretch up overhead. Oh, lovely, lovely stretch. Then come onto one side. And then bring yourself up into a seated position of your choice. Cross-legged, kneeling. Arms up overhead, gathering in all that lovely energy. Bring it down to your heart center, thanking yourself for all your hard work. Bow your head to your hands. Namaste. I hope you have enjoyed this class. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. We have gone over several different options to do during the vinyasas. Mix and match. Just because you do one day doesn't mean you're going to do exactly the same the next day. I hope you have enjoyed this series. Thank you.